Hail, and well met, noble adventurers. It's always such a pleasure to see you roaming around these halls. But I see we have new heroes in the making among us. Welcome all, new and familiar. Do visit the village when you have a chance. I admit, since last we met, I have not spoken more to the peoples of the village. I have been rather busy with portal conjuration and lair preparations to be ready for more visitors soon. That reminds me, before we get to today's stories, I would like to thank today's sponsor for the video. Me. It's me. All silliness aside, hey there. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for the support that I've received on this channel so far. It's been so fun and just so cool to see my little videos about my passions grow, and I can't wait to continue to grow even further. I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as building all the social platforms and like a Discord for the community, and I also have been streaming on Twitch pretty semi-regularly, given nothing happens that night. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all you guys who listen to these videos or share these videos, and if you ever wanted a place to hang out or somebody to watch on stream, I should be streaming a couple nights a week at least. And yeah, I plan on putting out more videos here soon, and I will put all the links down to the social platforms that I have been working on down below in the description. But yes, back to the real video. Thank you guys so much. You rock. So, with the thanks out of the way and the news bulletin broadcasted, so to speak, today I thought it would be prudent to share some more lighthearted tales with you. Sometimes the portal of r/RPG horror stories can be rather dim, but according to the authors, these tales may lean more towards the light. Let us call forth the kobolds to fetch us our drinks and sustenance, so that we may gather around the library this time, so that we may be a little bit cozier with these tales and get to be a little bit more familiar with some of the newcomers they have shown. On that note, please settle in as we begin our tales. This story is titled, Had a Stereotypical Neckbeard DM and Stupid Players Punish Me for Playing Raptor Jesus in the session I wasn't even there for. We were supposed to be playing an Oriental-themed campaign. Yes, that's the word he used. And asked everyone to make characters that would fit that style. The DM was the kind of dude who lived and breathed anime, had body pillows, unashamedly talked IRL about his waifu, tier lists, etc. You get the idea. This was before the internet was seriously picking up enough to allow people to play online, so local was all we had and games were sparse. I decided I wanted to make a sort of mystic/old wise man vibe, but I'd also always wanted to try a dragonborn style character. So I ran it by him, and he liked the idea of my character looking a bit like one of those dragons from Japanese lore/myth with a beard. Great, right? Sort of. Officially a dragonborn cleric, but you get the idea. Anyway, the game starts and someone at the table, can't remember who, doesn't matter really, says, "Oh, you're playing a cleric and a dragonborn? That's like that Raptor Jesus meme, right? Is that why you're playing a Raptor Jesus, because of the meme?" I stare at him blankly, as to be honest, that was a super weird leap for anyone to make, but eventually said, no. That was not the inspiration at all. However, I noticed the DM giving me a weird look, but paid it no mind. The whole table started joking about how my character, Raptor Jesus, was definitely that meme, and how funny that was that the DM let it slide in a serious campaign. So, I'm away for the second session because of family issues. Come back to session 3 and get told before I even set my back down or say hello. Roll a new character. I'm confused, obviously, so I ask what the DM is talking about. He goes on to explain that I tricked him into allowing a meme character at the table, and that he expected better of me, and how it was only appropriate that my character got crushed to death by an avalanche, that the rest of them miraculously survived. I asked again, what the hell was he talking about, but just said, Roll a new character or leave. And no memes this time. Don't fuck with my setting. I left. End of story. I think someone had a bad case of taking themselves too seriously. And to be clear, I mean the DM was taking themselves a little bit too seriously for some jokes that the players were making at the table, not necessarily what was happening in the actual setting of the game. When your players at the table are making jokes that you yourself did not intend, that's just kind of a natural consequence as to anything in D&D, really, from my experience. I've had several instances where I thought nothing of something, and then all of a sudden it was the most weird, awkward joke imaginable, and it kind of kept coming up. So I can only imagine being constantly called Raptor Jesus. Anyways, let us move on to our next story. This story is an interesting one. I actually included it just because it was told in second person, and I never see that. But just know that I don't actually intend this as harsh as it sounds, but it is very interesting to kind of throw in here, and it is rather lighthearted. This story is called, "If You Don't Invest in the World Will Not Invest in You." Your character is an artificer, something you beg for despite me initially saying it did not fit the lore. You are one of a handful of artificers in existence, and you have many opportunities to challenge the current elitist grip over arcane magic learning. Your character is not a wizard. Your character cannot learn to scribe spells if he rolls high enough. Your character cannot make rare items if he rolls high enough. Your character will be treated as an untrained hedge mage until you put in effort to bettering your reputation. I don't know why you didn't just play a wizard, honestly. Your character grew up in a devout empire. If you want to play a fantasy atheist, the natural response to that will be assuming your character is foolish, arrogant, delusional, or a traitor. Stop trying to rewrite the world lore to say your hometown doesn't care that much. I told you from the beginning they have shrines and follow the same customs. There is a gulf between relaxed about the use of arcane magic and casually blasphemes. The gods are an incredibly important presence in the world, especially for the country you chose your character to be from. Your character has a poor reputation among the wizards because at the literal first opportunity he had, he broke into a wizard's private sanctum and stole sensitive information which he then leaked publicly. No, he does not have to forgive you eventually. No, you cannot pay off the wizard to forgive you. This is not a video game. Your character has a poor reputation with that foreign country because you murdered the king's brother in front of the king. I asked you twice if you wanted to do lethal magical damage, and you said yes. I do not know why you are surprised Pikachu.jpg about this when it comes up that you are the face of foreign tyranny in their propaganda. But he was working with the BBEG. Does not mean that the king has to accept you invading his homeland and murdering a member of the royal family. Your character has constantly blown off his uncle being a political prisoner for months of in-game time. Months! All the party know about the guy is that he was abusive to your character. They're not going to be in a rush to save him. It's on you to push that as a priority if you want it resolved. Your character's childhood friend has noticed he only calls her up to ask for something, trauma dump, and leave. Yes, she wants an apology before she helps him next time. No, blubbering on the ground about how you are the worst person ever is not an apology. Please stop reminding me of my ex. Your character is not nice. He's a sycophant to people in power and an asshole to anyone you think is a morally acceptable target. I actually don't care if he isn't nice, but stop claiming he is. Your character doesn't get as much plot focus because plot focus requires push and pull. It is my responsibility to provide plot hooks. If you don't bite, there's not really much I can do, nor want to do. The reason the other player got a touching and triumphant moment was because they had built up to it over months. You are not willing to bite down on a hook or challenge your character to change or grow. They will not change or grow, and they will not have plot relevance. All of the above would honestly not matter that much to me if you were just the sort of player who didn't engage that much in the story. Your good time is obviously enrolling big number for big explosions, and I do my best to facilitate that. But you cannot have it both ways. You cannot play an arrogant jerk and then be surprised when people go, "Wow, what an arrogant jerk." You cannot ignore plot hooks and then be surprised when no plot happens. You cannot expect the world to invest in you if you will not invest in it. End of story. The author of this story actually had a very creative take on writing this, and I thought that it was enjoyable enough to include here. I kind of saw, just from the beginning, paragraph, that this was written in second person, and as I said before, I never really see that. So it was kind of interesting to include, and kind of funny to listen to a tale of one of those passive type players that kind of expects everything to happen around them, when that's not really how the game works. I understand that there are some types of DMs who will railroad their characters into certain decisions, and I understand that sometimes a little push in the right direction is needed, but to be a player and just sit around kind of expecting everything to happen your way is aired from the beginning, when that's just not the nature of these types of cooperative storytelling experiences. Like the author said, it is a push and a pull, so with every action and setup that the DM throws your way, you as a player are given the responsibility to react or to continue that plot hook forward. Plus, I'm sure your DMs really love it, actually. To write a really, really cool plot hook that your players just kind of latch onto is very fulfilling. Anyways, let us move on to our next story. This story is called The Lawful Jackass. So my table has been together for a long time, and we started playing Traveler about a year ago. One of those guys at the table really commits to his character concept, even when that means being antisocial and uncooperative. We all love the guy and respect the commitment, but it had consequences for him last night. We were investigating this planet with a weird psionic cult, and things go absolute shit. We infiltrate the cult and find out they're killing people. Long story short, the cult declares war on the handful of scientists on the planet. We help evacuate them off-planet. Enter stage. This player's new character. Hereinafter, new character. We saw a new character helping the cultists before, so we inherently don't trust him. But he's crossed paths with a couple of the characters and they know he's not a cultist. All the same, he's being beyond sketchy on what he was doing there. The refugees get on our ships, and the crew debates what planet to go to next. New character hacks into our computer to spy on us, and then tries to convince us to go to a different planet. We ask how he knew about our discussion. He says he hacked into our computers. One player specifically warns new character that if he does that again, he will be spaced out and airlock. New character immediately hacks back on our system and uses the access to mock the same player who warned him. New character's defense is he never stopped using the computer, so he technically never did it again. We vote to just detain new character instead of killing him. We tell new character we're going to search him and then confine him to his room, or we'll kill him. New character refuses to be searched and reveals he's a secret agent. Basically, the Inquisitors from 40K capturing and killing psionics, which doesn't help his case at all, and he's legally allowed to search our ship. But if we do anything to detain him, we'll have broken the law and he'll have the Empire hunt us down. So our only options are to let him fuck with us as much as he wants, or kill him before he has a chance to let anyone know we're with him. So obviously, we kill him. I offer to mercy kill him with a shot to the head rather than let him asphyxiate in space. He says we're stupid. His argument after his death was that he was being lawful good because the law allowed him to do what he did, and any other party would have let him live. I told him, no, he was not lawful good, he was being lawful jackass. We all had a good laugh through all of it, and now he gets to spend 3 hours with the DM rolling a new Traveler, which is arguably the best part of Traveler. End of story. Well, when you push people to their limit, and just say something like, well, it's what my character would do, oftentimes you find yourselves in these type of situations. I feel like in this story, a lawful good excuse didn't really fit. And the author was correct. This player was being a lawful jackass. If lawful at all, but especially not good. I feel the way he was playing this character was more neutral at best. And maybe some sort of chaotic, just based on how he kind of treated the party. Just in general. But I know that alignments are a little bit debatable sometimes. And I don't know. Maybe that's just what I see at the moment. Maybe there's more context to it and he was actually lawful good. But who knows? So, let us move on to our final story for the day. This story is called The Desert of Nothing. Just wanted to add my own little story of the most boring session I had. So this was a few years ago in an RPG club that I met IRL on the weekends. Basically, people showed up and then people who wanted to DM explained what they were going to run and players could freely join. It was mostly one shot, changed each week, a very free-to-join type of experience. That fateful day, I wanted to play with my friend, who we will call Friendo, and we weren't vibing with what was proposed, so we waited for all DMs to finish their presentation, players choosing their table in the meanwhile. At the end, basically every table had its players, and only 3 people were left, me, Friendo, and Guy. Guy then said, "Hey fellas, I can improvise a one-shot if you want." We said sure. So we make our characters and we roll. The system was a basic 1d100 system with a medieval fantasy theme. This was pretty long ago, so I'll just type what I remember. So the DM explains that we were in a desert and we're traveling somewhere. The DM then says that we see a cactus in the middle of aforementioned desert. I propose we continue traveling. Friendo agrees. DM says we have no water left and that we are becoming very hot. On the real life side, we're in the middle of summer in a building without AC, in room without openable windows. Very fitting. We take note of the situation, but keep pushing forward. We continue traveling and keep seeing cacti everywhere. We finally go see what is going on with the damned cactus, since it keeps popping up everywhere. The DM explains that the cactus is moving, like dancing. Oh, cool, something interesting. So we talk to the cactus. Nothing. Keeps dancing. We examine the cactus from every angle. No rolls. Keep dancing. We look around. Nothing except more dancing. We stab the cactus. No damage. It keeps dancing. We use spells. Can you guess? Yeah, dancing. At this moment, I'm thinking, what the hell are we supposed to do? And keep coming up with ways to interact with this thing. Nothing. This keeps going for at least 2 hours. 2 hours of dancing cactus and confusion. After a while, the DM says the cactus seems to points towards. At that point, I'm starved to do something other than staring at a dancing cactus. My mind is going numb. It's way too hot to be comfortable. Same for Friendo. We bite on that plot hook like our life depended on it. We rush towards the direction and we find an oasis full of cacti. Dancing cacti. Me and my friend share a look, laughing nervously, and we go to investigate. We examine the oasis. Nothing wrong with it. So we drink the water and examine the place we're at. Nothing. Sand. The water and the wonderful dancing cacti. We interact with the cacti. Nothing happens, and I wonder why God doomed me to this table. We keep going on, doing everything we can think of with the cacti and the oasis, trying to move them, trying to talk to them, diving in the water. Nothing. This is no railroad. This is the train off the tracks, sideways in a shallow ditch. At this point, I'm at my breaking point. It's 4 hours in. I'm mentally exhausted, I'm hot and sweaty, and Friendo and I are a few minutes short of PvPing each other to end this awful session. I don't care anymore. I'm on my phone, and I left my friend to face the cacti alone. Bless his soul. I don't exactly remember what triggered it, but then the DM has a smile on his face. He says a giant cactus rises out of the water and talks to us. Me and my friend. Being done with this, straight up attack it. We roll our attacks, we hit but deal no damage, boss turn, we get killed, like one shot. I say, good shit, and get up to pack up. I'm actually angry to have been deceived into this absolute waste of time. The DM seems actually happy about the session, and Friendo and I are scared for our life and never playing with this guy again. To this day, I don't know if the DM was just fucking with us, or just couldn't conjure up anything else than cacti. This is very light compared to the other horror stories, but it was the worst I got in an RPG session. My friend and I still talk about the cactus session and laughing about the absurdity of it. I hope my past misery entertained you a bit. TLDR, improvised game turns into a session where you can do nothing except look at dancing cacti. I now hate cacti. End of story. I'm just imagining the sabotenders and cactuars from Final Fantasy XIV. Well, I guess a lot of Final Fantasy games. But just dancing cactus over and over. Man, I would have some words with that DM. I'd be asking him what he even had planned to begin with, or if this was just off the cuff, because it's not the most imaginative. It is really funny to listen to someone else kind of go through it, though. Anyways, I hope today's stories brought you joy and were a little bit of a lighthearted change from last time's telling. I appreciate all the new visits from these new adventurers and familiar alike, and look forward to hearing more of your exploits as well as sharing some of mine. I have a lot of things in the works behind the scenes, and I'm very excited to bring them your way. Again, I do want to mention the village if you would like to visit in your spare time. Just make sure not to erase the merchants from existence. I heard that happened a couple towns over. The village is called the Argentum Village, and it's just down the way. I will put a portal here for you so that you do not have to walk it. Also, I do want to mention that I have received a couple of pieces of art that I would like to display. A few renditions of Silver, myself, and I will showcase those in a video to their own as they need to be honored properly. So look forward to that coming soon. Also, I just wanted to ask if you like my stories, feel free to record my portal into your spellbook and subscribe. It really helps my channel out, and it really helps me out as a content creator. I really love what I do here, and I really love TTRPGs and storytelling experiences, so I am excited every single time I get to make a storytelling for you guys. Or just anything at all. Even sharing my art is super exciting to me. And one last thing. For the first 24 hours after this video is live, I will be responding to all the comments. And that should be the normal case going forward as well. I just want to implement this just for my own health going forward, so that way I'm not constantly checking comments to make sure I'm replying. Thank you so much, adventurers and heroes, and both familiar and new faces. I really appreciate your support to this channel and your interest in my stories that I have to share. So, until next time, may your wings sail upon pleasant winds. Until we meet again.